Hey guys, Sean here. I was gonna do this review for how this review was gonna originally be planned for Halloween, but I figured since I wasn't gonna be around for Halloween, I'm gonna do this review now, and it's basically the Halloween series. No, not Halloween Town. I already did that. Um, I'm doing the Halloween series. You know, the Michael Myers movies, those ones. But I've only seen three of them: one, two, and H2O. Now, I bet you're wondering why did I skip 3 through 6, and why have I not seen Resurrection? Well, as far as skipping 3 through 6 is that mainly because they don't really count if you think about it. They are rendered non-canon by H2O. And as far as not seeing Resurrection, after the stuff I've heard about it, I really don't care for it. It was a pointless movie anyway, by the stories I've heard. So I'm only gonna do 1, 2, and Resurrection. Or no, 1, 2, and H2O. Sorry, forget I said Resurrection. I'm not doing that one ever. I don't know yet, but I'm just gonna do the three movies that are actually important. That's what I think. So I'm gonna start with the 1978 so-called classic original movie. This movie stars the late Donald Pleasant, Jimmy Lee Curtis, and an actor named Nick Castle, who plays Michael Myers, for some reason credited as The Shape. I never knew that. I never understood that. Why is he credited as The Shape if his name is Michael Myers? Never understood that, but okay. This movie was written and directed by John Carpenter, who had also done the 1982 movie, I think it was 82, movie The Thing, which I have seen the prequel to, the 7-Eleven thing, but that's a different subject entirely. Um, so anyway, let's see. The plot is set in the fictional Midwestern town of Haddonfield, Illinois. On Halloween night in 1963, 6-year-old Michael Myers, dressed in a clown costume, murders his older sister by stabbing her with a kitchen knife. 15 years later, Michael Myers, at age 21, escapes from a psychiatric hospital, returns home, and stalks Laurie Strode and her friends. Michael's psychiatrist, Dr. Sam Loomis, suspects Michael's intentions and follows him to Haddonfield to try and prevent him from killing. That's basically the plot of the movie. It has a runtime of 91 minutes, released October 25th, 1978. So what do I think of this movie? I thought it was really good. I mean, it's not the classic masterpiece icon that everyone says it is, but I still found it very entertaining nonetheless. There are some slow parts, but I think that was kind of the point because it's trying to build up atmosphere and suspense, none of which scared me at all. Because I normally don't get scared much during horror movies, but that's not really a bad thing. It's a personal thing with me. But yeah, I really liked the movie. The score by John Carpenter I thought was really cool, that he actually did his own music. He's the only other director that I know of to do their own music, aside from Robert Rodriguez, who did the Spy Kids movies, which I will review those at some point. So yeah, I really liked the movie. I thought it was very well done, very entertaining, very unscary though. Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis do good in their roles. They do very well for their roles, and it was nice to see Jamie Lee Curtis in her very first movie. That's actually kind of funny that this was her first movie. So now I'll do the second movie. Halloween 2, also known as Halloween 2, the horror continues. is a direct it is a direct sequel to the original movie, immediately picking up where it had left off on the same night on October 31st, 1978, as a seemingly immortal Michael Myers continues to follow Laurie Strode to a nearby hospital while Dr. Sam Loomis is still in pursuit of his patient. This was directed by Rick Rosenthal and an uncredited John Carpenter, written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, also produced by them. The music was done by John Carpenter and Alan Howarth. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. Released October 30, 1981, with a runtime of 92 minutes. This movie, like I said, essentially picks up where the last one left off. The first two movies work as like a two-part movie. The only problem is when they do the recap of the end of the last movie, they kind of get some details, screwed up, which I don't get why Carpenter didn't just tell Rick Rosenthal to insert the actual ending from the last movie into the beginning of the sequel. And I know you guys are going to say, people are probably going to say that Back to the Future Part 2 did a similar thing with doing a recap, but that movie, it had an excuse. They had to reshoot the end of the first movie because Claudia Wells was replaced by Elizabeth Shue. I think that's her name. So they had to reshoot the ending of Back to the Future Part 1 with Elizabeth Shue in the role. But it was still the same dialogue, the same events, just a different actress. Here, it just doesn't feel right, basically. Basically, the plot is that Laurie, after the events of the first movie, is being hauled off the Haddonfield Memorial to recover and heal, while Michael is on the loose looking for her, and Loomis is trying to track down Michael and put him to try and kill him while protecting Laurie. And they do reveal in this movie that Laurie is Michael's sister, which according to reports I've heard, John Carpenter blames that twist on writer's block and too much alcohol. So, yeah, even he puts the twist down, which is kind of sad. But anyway, what did I think of this movie? I thought it was a well done movie. I didn't think it was as good as the first movie, but it was still, entertaining nonetheless. Like the first one, this does have some slow parts, but not really as many as the first. So that's why I think it's a good movie. They do replace the actor that played Michael Myers. In the first movie, it was Nick Castle. In this one, it's Dick Warlock, I think his name is. So, but a very well done movie, all in all. Now on to Halloween H2O. This movie, basically, in a sense, it retcons movies 3 through 6, acting as if acting essentially as a direct sequel to the first two movies. Basically, takes place 20 years after the first movie, after the events of the first two movies, and centers on a post-traumatic Laurie Strode living in fear of her murderous brother Michael Myers, who attempted to kill her all those years ago. When Michael eventually appears, Laurie must face evil one last time, while the life of her teenage son hangs in the balance. This movie was released in 1998 under the direction of Steve Miner and was written by Robert Zapier. Again, I think I butchered that name. and Matt Greenberg. The music was done by X-Men veteran John Ottman and was released August 5th, 1998 with a runtime of 86 minutes. Translation, an hour and 26 minutes. So basically, the plot follows the events of the first two movies 20 years later, where Laurie is basically has faked her death and is living under the assumed name Carrie Tate in California, basically now as the headmaster of basically he's headmaster of a private school that her son attends. Do I like this movie? Yes. In my opinion, I thought this was the best of the three that I've seen. I found it very entertaining. It was really there wasn't really that many slow parts. Not as much as the first two, but those were made back in the 70s and 80s, so let's use those. The one thing I didn't understand, though, is in the opening scene where they're essentially recapping the first two movies, I think, we hear a voiceover by who's supposed to be Loomis, it's supposed to be Dr. Loomis' speech about Michael from the first movie. But it's done by a stand-in voice actor, I guess. Now, I understand they obviously couldn't have Donald Pleasence because he passed away after the sixth movie, obviously. But I don't get why they just couldn't take his speech from the first movie and then put it in here. I mean, was it a rights issue or something? Because if that's the case, then I don't get how they could have used footage from the first movie in a dream sequence that Laurie has. It's just something was a little nitpicky, just a little nitpicky thingy. They do bring back an actress from the first two movies, the nurse that basically accompanied Loomis in the first two movies. She's brought in for a cameo, essentially a cameo. And then you got Michael Myers again recast in this movie, played by Chris Durand. I wonder if any relation to Kevin Durand from X-Men Orange and Wolverine. If so, awesome. If not, okay. And you also got Josh Hartnett, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm not sure if I want to say this, but you got Michelle Williams. I was gonna call her Heath Ledger's baby mama, but damn, screw it, I already just did it. But yeah, you got Michelle Williams in this movie from Oz the Great and Powerful, which I think she does a good job in this movie. All the actors, I think, do good jobs in this film. So yeah, like I said, this was probably my favorite of these three. Although I do give the other two much respect for being the first of their kind and their whole, iconic status, I guess you say. So I do give the first two credit, but I do like this one more. And one of the reasons why I don't really care for Resurrection, even though I've never seen it, is because that movie was, as I've heard, a completely unnecessary movie because they somehow pull out of their rear ends an explanation for Michael's survival. When, I'm sorry, but as Filmmaster MJ said, a severed head is still a severed head. Michael was dead. So, just something I thought I'd add in for this video. I don't know what my next review will be because I will be away at a friend's house this weekend. So I have no idea what my next review will be, but when I figure that out, I will totally get back to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, so I will catch you next time.